Okay, so now we've finished with our seam. So you can see we have this faux knit line going up here that matches with all the other ones. Then we're going to start closing the top of our hat right where we are, which is great because we don't have more ends to weave in. We're not going to cut and start over. So all you're going to do for this first round is just do single crochets around the top. And you don't even have to hit every single row if you don't want to, because we're trying to get that hole to close at the top. So this whole thing needs to come together. And it gets pinched together pretty quickly. So you can just kind of guess how many to do. So it's kind of looking even as you go around. There's like a big gap there. So if that ever happens and I try and do one to kind of pinch it closer. I don't know if that's going to work that well, because I don't want a big gap on the top of my hat. So I think I'm just going to skip over that whole thing just to make sure it pinches together. Of course, I have a hair in there. Please tell me I'm not the only one that happens to. So you're just going to keep working around with single crochets. Again, it doesn't matter your stitch count at this point. We're just trying to get that hole closed. So if you're okay with being just a little bit free-spirited. Again, I am trying to make it look nice at the top, so sometimes it looks like I have some weird spaces for some reason. I am wanting to pinch those together because I don't want those big gaps to show. Just like that one again. I'm going to pinch all those closed. It is going to be bunched on the top, so that's not what we're going for, like having a smooth top, but we don't want holes on the top. So if you're encountering any of that, those kind of issues, you can just hop right over. And I need to attach a little more yarn. I tried to pull that out and it didn't. So I love single ply yarn, you can just break it. When I'm doing hats, I just tie a new strand on because you can just hide things on the inside of the hat and it doesn't matter if there's a knot or a little string hanging out. I think I grabbed an extra loop there. You don't need to analyze how well I'm crocheting. I'm trying to just do this quick for the video, just to zip around it once. I think we're almost there. Okay, so here I've made it around. You can see I brought it in quite a bit here on the top. So now we're going to do is work single crochet decreases around this whole circle. And so to do that, you go into the stitch and pull up a loop, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop, wrap around and pull through all 3 loops. So you're essentially bringing 2 stitches together into 1 stitch. My ball of yarn wants to keep moving across. So you'll keep going around. Till you get back to the beginning. And then we're doing single crochet 2 together again on the essentially the 3rd round of this of the round, because we were working in rows the rest of the time. So we're going to be switching to rounds on this part of the pattern. I just dropped that guy. It's funny when I'm recording this, you guys aren't watching me right now, but I feel like you are, because I know you will be. So I'm crocheting like my students when I watch them to make sure they're doing it right and helping them. But it's still nerve-wracking to have someone watch you crochet. It's so funny, because I'm just getting a taste of my own medicine. I always tell my students it's okay, but okay, so I think they're almost around. There's one more. So if you have an uneven number, don't worry about it. Again, we're just trying to close this hole. So you could just work a single crochet in the last one, or you could just stop and then start doing the single crochet decrease. So we'll go one more time around, doing this single crochet decrease. As you can see, everything is pinching together now. It's looking really good. There aren't many gaps or spaces. And you want to make sure when you're doing decreases that you are doing them nice and tight, especially up here on the top of the hat. I don't know about if you're making a shawl or something, but you don't want gaps. Like there's a little bit there. You want to make sure everything stays nice and snug. So not necessarily, let's see, this loop here could be a little out, but these loops underneath you want to be tight. So that one could have been a little tighter, which is the loop that was on my hook. Okay, so now we made it around on our decreases. So your hole should be pretty small. You can kind of see that. And then just grab some, I don't know, I'm gonna cut my yarn maybe a foot long. Give me a little space here. Of course, I don't have the scissors nearby, so I'm just breaking it. Okay. So what I like to do, the whole thing is moving here, is I would actually do a slip stitch in the next stitch and then pull your yarn up and out till it pops out, okay? And then we're wanting to do whip stitch. And I think it depends on your yarn, again, your gauge, but if you're doing exactly what I'm doing, I would even do every other stitch, just pull a loop through. That makes sense. I think we're back at the beginning. And then you'll just cinch it tight, like that. And then you can put this down into the inside and tie it off. So now we have our hat all complete. We have this end we need to weave in down here and the one up here. Just 2 ends to weave in. It's seriously my favorite, one of my favorite things about this hat. So there it is. We did it beginning to end, except for weaving in the ends, which I will get to, but it's everyone's favorite part, right?